This is the Hoffman Model 961 Part 2. Part 1 was a pickup and kind of initial overview of the set. The FM didn't work. The TV didn't work. It appeared to be power supply issues. The AM did initially work, and then we were playing around with switching some tubes, and the AM quit working. So we're going to get into this a little bit today and see if we can figure out what's going on and hopefully get it working. So what we got is the chassis is in kind of this really nice wood track.
Yeah, at the top here, and at the bottom there's a piece of wood and something, and I don't know if it may slide out on it, but there's a big 1/2-inch bolt we have to get out of the top, which is now loose and quite difficult to get out of there. So this is what held the chassis in at the top, this one bolt. Seems like the whole thing is kind of loose now. We've got all the wires disconnected, the yoke, the high voltage, CRT. Let's see. Oh, something's still holding it in. Alright, so we got the screw out of the front, similar kind of deal as the back. And it slides out, and you can see already the problems. There's those red plastic coupling caps, the sand resistors, lots of carbon resistors on the chassis. So let's get it out and take a look.
Go ahead.
There she is. Actually not as heavy as it might look.
So here, let's turn it around, get it towards the light.
Well, the power supply is on the lower chassis. That's probably why it's not
No,
so
I don't
heavy.
think so. The power supply is right here. The transformer is right here.
Okay. 40, 48, and 20.
Oh yeah, look at that. Look at the corrosion.
To say, okay.
Well, that looks pretty sick right there.
So does the bumblebee next to it. There's actually quite a few bumblebees, 5 or 6 of them in here. The continuous tuner is interesting. Over here, continuous tuner.
Well, that's the AM FM.
Oh, it's not the... Oh, here's the TV side. The shielded box.
But that was continuous too, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Or broken. No, it does look like continuous. So, IF strip here, nothing too remarkable. What is there? 1, 2, 3 IF stages? Potentially. Well, we're going to pull the SAMs for it, or try to.
Actually, pretty simple, isn't it?
There's a lot of room on this chassis here, a lot that's not even used here down by the tuner.
It looks very original. It looks very untouched.
Got masking tape that they put on the wiring harness here for some reason. Looks like masking tape.
Oh, here's one of those can ohm.
Yep. You know when you're starting.
I'm going.
We found this resistor, 150 ohms. It's labeled, and we're seeing 54K across it, so we're pretty sure it's bad.
And this comes right off of the
B plus.
well, yeah.
Rectifier.
There's the rectifier tube right there. So yeah, it looks pretty corroded. The leads look pretty green on it. And we've made sure that we got a good bite on it, so it's not a matter of... It's done, man.
Yeah.
Alright, this thing is in Ryder's model volume 7. And that's it right there. It's a block diagram of it. Do we have a date here? 1951, was it?
I think so.
Anyway, if I could turn the page. There's the chassis right there. Here we go. Audio output 10 watts. Video bandpass 3.8 megacycles. Intermittent frequency. Video carriers 26.1. TV sound carrier 21.6. And what did we say the FMIF was? The FMIF is also the 26.1. And here's the AM FM radio schematic. It's got a pentagrid converter 6BA7. It's got one IF, and then it's got an AM detector, FM cathode follower. And getting over here to the TV schematic, we go to the power supply, and we see our 150 ohm right there, which is the main supply for everything. And if that went open, that would explain why the whole thing just kind of came to an abrupt end. I do have a 180. We're going to stick that in there. I don't have a 150. Here's the amp schematic. These two 047s definitely need to be changed because they will cause the tubes to fail real quick. They'll throw the bias off. Base shaping filter. And there's the power supply for the amp. So we'll start going through this thing and checking it out. We'll start with the TV and see where we get. Okay, well, Chris is going through this, the rest of the resistors here. We just tacked a 180 in here temporarily until I can get a 150. And the sand one is a 150 10 watt, and this is a 180 25 watt. I figured I would pull the audio amp out and go through the capacitors in it, and look at this. Boy, would the guitar audiophile crowd get excited over this. But I'm about to spoil it because this thing is just filled with bumblebees. And with the vintage guitar crowd, if you change these, you just diminish the value to a point where it's garbage. So we're looking for a couple 047s, and that's right here, yellow, purple, orange. We got 2 of them. And if I remember right, one tube was getting super hot. Well, we could plug it in and check the bias on the tubes. That wouldn't be hard, and see how bad they're leaking. But we know they're leaking. Got another can ohm right here. It's a cute little amp, 10 watt, all tube mono amp.
Here?
Yeah. Okay, we're going to check the grids, the control grids. And that one is positive 41 volts. That'll take that tube out real quick, and then check that one. That one is positive 0.2 volts. So that means that this tube should be getting super hot, and it is. Let's unplug it. Unplug that. So this capacitor here is leaky, super leaky, and that'll cremate that tube really quick, make it red plate. So we'll get those out of there. All right, I've replaced the 2 bumblebees here, or black beauties. We don't want to get into unpolitically correct terms. We do have 2 Cornell Dublier black cub capacitors down here. And those potentially belong to the Black Capacitors Matter campaign, so I am not going to touch those. Besides, they go to ground anyway. So we're going to plug this in and check some voltages. Let's see, where did... Alright, you ready to go there? Okay, power is applied. That should be the positive side. You want to stick to basically right there and right there. So what do we have there?
Hasn't come up yet. It's still, there we go, 0.001.
So from 41 volts down to 0.02. Okay, go to the other one. And
0.02.
0.02. And let's check.
Hold on.
Let's check the other side of the capacitor. Okay, we have 45 volts there, and check the other side of the other one, which would be right here.
242 and
Wow, 240.
35 on the
So
other
that these bumblebees were quite leaky. One of them was quite leaky. And checking the temperature, that one's still quite a bit hotter. Wow. I'd like them to be equal. Let's verify the voltages again, but I think they look good. Alright, well, the tube that was getting hotter was the one that had the bad capacitor. And I monitored the grid voltage, and after a minute we noticed it was coming up to 22 volts. So I pulled it out and the grid voltage went back down to 0. So this thing is damaged from the bad capacitor. It's got grid emissions, so I need to find another, what did I say this was, 6K6. This thing is bad. Alright, I found a 6K6, a used one in my collection, and this one is not immune from its problems either. This one, the voltage, the grid voltage is creeping up to around 1 volt. It's nowhere near the 20 volts of that one, but it's still got some grid leakage. It creeps up after it's on about 5 minutes, and this is a situation where a tube tester does absolutely no good at identifying problems. But that tube should actually probably work okay in here for testing purposes. Chris is over here replacing the fuse holder because we couldn't find the right head that would go in the old one and fit right. So we have a modern one that actually fits in perfect and looks about the same. And then we changed a couple of these capacitors down in here that I felt were critical before we actually started it up, so we'll put it back together and see what it does.
And what do we want to be on for the selection? FM?
Yeah, just start with whatever. Go ahead, fire it up.
FM?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me get the watt meter on it. Okay, 65 watts. Did I plug all this stuff in over here? I think so. Hold on, did it blow the fuse? It sure did. It cremated the fuse.
Really? So not even though it was only drawing 65 watts?
Well, it must have just blown it instantly.
But you had 65. Or was that?
Well, that's I think that's the amp. That's just
okay.
the audio amp.
Okay.
Remember, the audio amp was drawing like 140 before by itself with the bad capacitors in it.
Okay. So we need a slow blow resistor.
Yeah, slow blow resistor, and we need to variac this thing, I think.
Should I turn it on?
Yeah, turn it on. Alright, it popped a 3 amp fuse instantly on the previous power up. So what we're going to do is we're going to crank it up slowly here. I'm measuring current.
Yep.
Maybe it does need a slow blow. It just, wow. What are we on, radio or?
Yeah.
.5 amps and dropping. Almost like there's capacitors reforming in there.
A little bit of hum out of the speaker. That's the audio amp.
Okay, yeah, the audio amp is alive. Alright, hold on. Yeah, that's... Crank it up a little. Okay, go ahead.
It's been better the last 2 weeks.
2-2. Cash backing off. He has made 68 pitches to this point. First couple of innings, he threw a boatload of pitches. He's kind of settled down since then. He went 1-2-3 in the third. Here's the 2-2 on the way. It's down low to Brent Anderson.
And just
Trying to figure out how he got to at Vanderbilt. And just doesn't.
CEO to worker pay ratio varies wildly when Bloomberg checks your money.
this is Jeff Witcher in the
Try
US
AM.
Open Women's Soccer
I mean FM.
Final match that will draw a lot.
Oh,
Just need the antenna.
Tienen el poder que necesitaremos.
Ooh.
Para sugerencias, visite flexalert.org.
okay, we now have smoke. Something got hot, you can smell it. Alright, so this capacitor's warm, but it's not like hot. It's probably reforming. I got it powered up, I want to see where the smoke is coming from. 1.6 amps. There's the smoke Come see it. Do you see where it's coming?
Yeah, from up there.
Where is it coming from?
Looks like something underneath the high voltage cage. 1.57 amps. Is that a resistor?
Seriously, what is smoking here? Holy crap, that thing is hot.
Bumblebee, huh? Didn't have to guess. I guess we'll have to replace that one.
All right, I changed that 0.0022 with a 1600 volt one. I'm making a list of the parts I need, so when I go to the parts house, I just want to kind of get this thing to see if it'll work, or if the CRT is too far gone, or the flyback. This resistor here also got pretty hot and dropped in value, so I'm going to have to replace that, but we'll give it another shot now. Alright, we're fired up here. We have about, I would say about 10 kilovolts on the CRT. That's probably a little bit low, but at least we're producing high voltage, so that indicates the flyback is not bad, shorted. Any kind of raster or anything?
Oh, yeah, there was something for a moment.
With the MP3 player fed in directly into the amp, it sounds incredibly good, so it's not the FM, it's not the amp or the speaker that's clipping and distorted. It's got to be something in the FM tuner section, which is kind of common. I've noticed these old early FM tuners don't seem to play real clear on this modern programming. And you could hear that sounds like crap. Something in the tuner. We'll try AM.
So high all across America, but also you may have to look out of state for a better deal than a deal close to your home. Let's talk about that, how you have to really keep your eyes open for other opportunities that may not necessarily be very close to where you live.
Yeah, John, we're going to train our students.
Over 220 points.
Imagine working 2 hours a day, making the same amount of money or more, and having the rest of the day to enjoy your family and favorite activities. You could make that dream a reality with Avenge.
I don't know, it starts distorting at a certain volume. So in an attempt to try and find the distorted sound, we're taking a look at this circuit right here. And there's a 0.01 there off the plate. And here's that 0.01, and measuring the voltage on it. On one side there we have 81 volts, and on the other side we have 80 volts. So that thing is leaky. So we're going to cut that out of there. It's becoming apparent that all these capacitors are leaky. I kind of know that, but I'm still trying to just test this thing before I do a bulk recap. I'd like to see kind of a picture on it to know that the CRT is usable. But I just put a 0.01 disc in there for now. What's it matter if it's a disc? On the input is a 0.005 disc going into the amp tube, so what's it matter if there's a disc on the output? Also, I noticed that the center conductor of this is disintegrating, and the shield is shorting to the center conductor. That's why it's audio if I wiggle this thing around. So I put down on the list some small audio coax to get from the parts house as well. Auto-tuned Mexican music, so that capacitor seems like it cleaned up the radio. We're starting to get some filter hum, so the capacitors, the electrolytics are starting to fail.
Announcing a giant coolant, $12.99 a gallon. Protect your engine and earn double O reward points with
We still need to figure out where the FM antenna hooks up, but we're getting there slowly. So the previous owner, when we picked it up, he said that after the TV failed, that he continued to use this radio for quite some time. Remember that?
Yep.
And the design flaw in this thing is that it runs the filaments in the CRT as well as all the other tubes when you're in AM and FM. So it's very possible that he ran quite a bit of the life out of the CRT just by listening to the radio. It's kind of a stupid design, but I guess when CRTs were aplenty, it wasn't that big of a deal to run the life out of one of them.
Baby, baby, ooh, baby, 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 baby. Push it good. Push it real good. Push it. Push it. Yo, yo, yo.
It's actually not bad. It sounds really good and it's pretty loud.
But considering none of the electrolytics in the power supply have been changed out, it still pumps out tons of bass.
Yeah, it's got a slight hum, but it's only slight. Okay, we're gonna fire up the TV. Go ahead. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, very dim.
Yes, it is very dim. The camera here picks it up much more vibrantly than our eyes. What was that? Did it tune something in? Turn the volume up and...
FM broadcast.
Oh, channel 6.
Es no olvidar que solo se necesita cuando sea por toda la vida y ver que los platos sucios pueden esperar, porque la vida no lo hará. Recientemente, estar juntos significa convertir un no tengo tiempo ahora en no hay tiempo como el presente. Dale sabor a tus comidas con una Coca-Cola bien fría y conviertes un día
I don't see a change.
Coca-Cola destapa la felicidad. Ya sea una merienda para invitados inesperados, un rápido bocado de carne.
Let's get an antenna on it. Grab the wire and we'll...
Solo necesitas
Fabulosa de peluche. No idea. Después retamos a un
Sounds like it needs
adolescente.
a cleaning on the
Los ojos de
tuner.
peluche no pelean.
Thought it was a continuous
Por
tuner.
último, a un
Yeah, but
niño.
it sounds like it's got dust. See if it cuts out completely.
Gogurt, la magia de
So-
ser niño.
Very dim.
Can't imagine you leaving. If I could build a perfect person, honestly, you would be it. And you know nobody knows you like I know you. I can't wait to come back home so I can hold you. Yeah. Something. Somewhere down the road you might get lonely. Keep me.
Acabados de...
You know, I don't know that much about these continuous tuners, but I would think that it should tune all the way through the FM broadcast band, but the IF would be way too wide, wouldn't it? Isn't that what a continuous tuner would do?
It would probably go through it pretty quickly.
Because channel 6 would be right at the bottom of it.
Yeah, it's interesting that the audio is a subcarrier, and yet it can hear it anyway.
Toyota of Orange. Thanks to you, our 1,000-car challenge was such a success. We've extended our...
Actually getting some snow now.
Special up.
Well,
She hit with some tuner spray.
boy, it kind of likes this type of music. I don't know about this thing. Well, let's hook the cable box up to it and see what we get.
Okay.
I'm not sure how. Oh, wait! Look at the burn. Look at the ion burn.
Hey, yeah.
See it? So hold on. Wait. Get it to a blank raster. Right there. So we definitely do have the ion burn here. Right there. This circle is from putting the wrong gun on the tube. It's a non-aluminized tube, and they put a straight fire gun in there. Well, that's kind of a bummer, but yeah, that's kind of a big black spot. I'm gonna pause this because I'm running out of video. Oh, there you go. You had something. Okay, this looks like something here. We're gonna adjust the...
What's it doing?
The other way. You in vertical or horizontal?
Horizontal.
Go the other way. It's not syncing. You should be able to get it to still stay. Okay, do the vertical. Man, that burn spot in the CRT kind of really ruins it. I mean, that is very noticeable.
We're not really getting any.
No, it's not syncing. There you go. You're slowing it down there. Oh, almost. Pretty close. Hey, there we go. There's DirecTV. I must need to reset the box because it's been deactivated, been unplugged for a couple weeks. Man, look at that burn spot in the front. Jeez. Look at this.
Well, we're not getting the audio, but just got to clean that tuner.
Can you stop the vertical?
It won't lock. So
there's a couple of black. Oh, sorry, being politically incorrect. Black beauties, can't call them that. Gotta call them bumblebees. Black beauties matter. But it looks pretty good. There's a few black beauties in there that have to be corrected, replaced, and then it would probably have solid sync. But that burn spot, what, the focus?
yeah.
Well,
And even do you think? Should we check the high voltage now and see if?
well, I think it's a little low.
Would it be brighter?
Probably a little bit, but not much. The CRT is pretty tired.
Mm-hmm. So is it really worth all the effort that would have to go in?
That burn spot in the middle is kind of a downer. You know, if the burn spot was anywhere around one of the edges, it wouldn't be that big of a deal, but yeah. So let's recap where we're at right now. We have the AM/FM part working fairly well. We got failing filter capacitors, which is no surprise. The focus control is not doing anything. We might have low high voltage. That might be due to bad capacitors. We have a burn mark in the phosphor on the front of the CRT due to the thing being rebuilt with a non-ion trapping gun. What else am I leaving out? Black beauties for life.
Won't lock, but that's probably signal losses somewhere due to capacitors. Not able to synchronize the vertical. And a weak CRT, which
yeah, a weak
calls
CRT.
the whole project into question of should you really put effort into.
Well, besides the weak CRT, we have the damage to it. No sound demodulate, which I don't understand why it would demodulate FM radio on the TV side, but it won't demodulate TV. That seems kind of weird. Tune around and see if you can.
Could it be AGC related?
No, I doubt it. God, that's got a huge burn mark in the front of it.
Just clean the tuner. Does it use the same detector for the TV?
Oh, there you had it.
There we go. Maybe the sound is out of alignment.
Very possible.
You know, where it's not looking for it at the right point.
Right.
Because we're not really getting video right now.
Go ahead, rotate it. I can't get it from here.
Still, all in all, pretty impressive for a 64-year-old TV.
Leave it right there. Leave it right there. No, go back to no thing. Let me try and get on. Yeah, right there. Right there. Go back to where it's just a raster. Go to where it's just blank. Yeah.
That? Yeah, the burn mark.
The burn mark right there. Right there. And of course, the brighter it goes, the more pronounced that's going to be. Oh well, should we call this part 2 or part end? It's a cool TV. I'm definitely going to keep it. It's a high quality TV. It's just the CRT issue makes it fairly undesirable as far as something to watch. The AM/FM radio performs really, really well though. It sounds really good.